Alright, Lucid Abstract here with the advanced leatherworking video covering all the things that I didn't cover in the first two videos. Now I am gold leatherworking with the gold leatherworking belt, so we're going to go over min-maxing pretty much. So when you get gold and you want to min-max, a couple different things that you want to look out for. One thing is you want to get enchants. For me, I'm running four enchants on here. Intoxicated, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome. So currently I have leatherworking cap on here because I have not found the experimentation points for leatherworking. I'm starting to think they don't exist on live server, but I have two of the blacksmithing ones here to show you the difference of the enchants. So the two different kind of enchants you can put on here are the blacksmithing cap or the blacksmithing experimentation cap. Obviously it works the same way with leatherworking, you just have to be lucky enough to find them. These enchants tend to drop from elementals, world bosses, and just sometimes you just might be lucky enough to get a world drop. On top of the gear that you can get the cap up with, you can also get rings and a necklace. Now the jewelry is important once you're maxed out, because it gives you leatherworking experimentation point, and it gives you experiment difficulty reduction, and it gives you your main stat that you can use to pump up. The thing about the cap is if you're on a level 30 vessel, it's not really going to make a difference because you'll be capped at, like, for example, for leatherworking it'll be 200 dexterity, where you're going to want a higher colored vessel to get the higher level cap of your main stat for this. So for example, this tune is currently leveling a green vessel, so I am able to get my dexterity up to 218, which if you go to details and you go under crafting, you can look through your different caps. For experimentation, I'm already capped at 115. For experimentation points, I'm already capped at 18. Where it comes to assembly, the leatherworking, I'm at 107.76, whereas the cap is 131. Whereas when I get a higher colored vessel and push my dexterity to a higher level, I can increase this number more. I find the experimentation cap to be more beneficial as an enchant, but also harder to find, because you can use that to add more experimentation points on your gear, which means you have more points to allocate, which is more stats on your gear, whereas the cap is just reducing your risk of assembly. Once you have your cap higher, you get your stat higher, it will raise your cap even more. The other things that you're going to want to do when min-maxing is you're going to want to have your food buff. In this case, a sumptuous pot pie. You want to be using this one because it gives you 1 point of experimentation points on your crafting. And the other one you're going to want to use is a bond tipper, which will greatly reduce your risk difficulty by 15. Now the bond tipper lasts 10 minutes and the pie lasts for 30 minutes. You could also use single tippers, but these are one per piece. The way I like to do it is I like to set out all of my things that I'm going to be crafting so that when I use my buffs, I can get my full max time out of them instead of constantly using tippers. You can make this at a cooking table. Probably be a different video of how to make those, but some of it is you can take 10 tippers and use some other additives and cook them into bond tippers. And then instead of it being a single time use, it lasts for 10 minutes and you can use it as many times as you can in the 10 minutes. Let's see, enchants. I'm gonna show you guys how to throw an enchant on something. So for example, let's see, rune making. We'll use rune making. Someone just asked me for one and I have one single one. I'm gonna have to craft a piece to use it, so we will start it off. We're gonna pop food buff. We're gonna pop tipper. Now we have our dined and wined, and I'm wearing all of my crafting gear and all of my crafting jewelry and my belt and my disc, obviously. So now this is the max points that I can get for crafting at the moment until I get a better vessel. So this is like the min max that I can do with my resources. Leatherworking, we will use a quick chest piece. We'll make crushing, throw buckles, dust, and a treated leather. Oh, and we got an uproll. Let's go. We're gonna name it Runemaker's Tunic. You guys already know on the chest piece I put it all stats. Are you insane? We have reduction. We'll run it. Polish. Get it. Boom, boom. Alright, so now we have a piece. The thing with the enchanting is it has to be on a crafted piece. You cannot put this on a piece that is found. Now to do it, you go to your crafting menu, you go down to enchanting, go to enchant armor, you throw the chest piece because that's what we're using. You then put the chest piece in, you put the armor enchant in, and you have to put a chaos ember in there too. So we put that in, and then all you got to do from there is assemble, and boom. Now this is enchanted with a rune making cap +4. One thing to note, that once you enchant a piece of gear, you can no longer factory it. So if it's a gear set that you're going to want to factory, make sure you factory it first and enchant the factory copy, because if you enchant the original piece, you will no longer be able to factory it. And so that's pretty much the quick rundown of the min-maxing. Like I said, there are two types. There's the cap and the experimentation cap. So one reduces your risk, one gives you an experimentation point. You're going to want one on each piece of your gear, which is 4 pieces of gear, 2 rings, and a necklace. Another tip is if you're crafting on a guinea can wear a 3rd ring, or if you're crafting on a high elf can wear 2 necklaces. So when it comes down to your crafters, always keep that in mind depending on what the craft is, you know, because you're going to want to go for the stat whichever contributes to the crafting that you're doing. Me as a leather worker, dexterity is the main stat, so on my vessels for this guy is going to be full dex as high as I can get it, to push that as far as I can get it. And that's pretty much the basis of the min-max here. If I remember anything else that I've missed, you know, I'll make another vid, but as of now, that covers enchants, crafting gear, rings, and a neck piece. And that's the best way. Lucid Abstract here with their final leatherworking advanced video. Thanks guys. Hit me with that follow and that like. I love you. 3M, good to see you. Blah, you the homie. I'm out.